John Edwards for Griffins TV alongside head coach Brian Haddock. And coach, regular season finale, but you guys have been on a pretty good run over the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, tonight's the senior night, and we're going to honor our 15 seniors who've meant a lot to the program and to me personally. The results lately have spoke for themselves. Obviously, with the grind of the high school season coming down to the end, there's always still bumps in the road, but we feel really good about how we've been playing.
You've had a really talent-rich senior group. You have 15 seniors, which is quite a large number of seniors, and you'll be just as rich moving into next year as well.
Yeah, and the strength is in numbers, and with that strength, we're talking about 15 kids that are versatile soccer players. Gosh, every single one of them, even our goalkeepers have experience in playing in the field. Those guys that are field players, have proven over the years amongst all the levels that they can play in multiple spots. And that's a really good hallmark, I think, of our program going forward.
The other night, you pick up a win over Parkway West. Stephen Beavis puts in 2 goals for you. Stephen, a senior this year, talk a little bit about his leadership for your team this year in the midfield and moving the ball and scoring goals for you.
Yeah, Stephen's a linchpin on our team. He's one of our 3 senior captains, but I think he'd be the first guy to tell you that he's only as good as his teammates. He's got a couple of other seniors that play around him on the field in proximity that really make his job better. But Stephen's one of the most humble kids that I've ever coached, and like I said, he's going to give credit to the 14 other guys on our roster, from our goalkeepers all the way up to our forwards, in terms of what makes him a good player. And he brings some really good skill, as evidenced by his signing with SIUE. But he's a complete team player, and he's going to deflect all that to his teammates.
How easy does that make your job when you have players like that, I mean, sports is in a whole is just very difficult, because a lot of kids, even though they'll play for the jersey, for the team on the front of their jersey, still play a little bit of an individual style. But talk about how some of the seniors this year have really responded to that, hey, we're a team kind of thing.
They're a team group, and it started as a group when they played freshman soccer. I remember it vividly. It's kind of hard to believe that they're graduating here this year. But what I'm going to tell these guys is, you could always replace the player. There's going to be another forward, another goalkeeper, another center mid, another wing mid coming through the system. That's just a hallmark of our program. But you're not going to replace the person. And these 15 guys, they're in the hallways with me all the time talking soccer. I teach a lot of these kids in class. They're coming in during my time, my free period, just to chit-chat about soccer and non-soccer related stuff. Seeing these kids' successes in the service world here at Vianney, which is what we're big at, the spiritual part of things, their hobbies outside of school. You get to know these kids beyond the soccer player. And while these kids are very talented on the field, what we miss as coaches of these 15 are the people, and that's irreplaceable. Soccer is going to go on, but there'll never be another group like these 15.
Is it tough knowing? Is this probably one of the better senior groups that you've had over the last few years?
Yeah, and like I said, all the above. It's obviously the talent of the soccer group is there, but they have a tight group chemistry. They were obviously last year, with me being the first year as a head coach, they were part of that junior class, so they're in essence part of that very first team. And as a coach, however long you do it, you seem to always remember those first couple teams and your last couple teams, and a lot of the stuff in the middle is a big blur. And these guys are going to be part of those groups. What I hope, regardless of how the results go, that they can come back in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years at the reunions and share some of those successes as a group that we got to do this year with our alumni nights that we had. And I'm confident that will happen, and we just hope that the result part of it will be there.
You graduate 15 this year. You have a good group coming back, but talk about some of the guys that are playing with your JV team, your B team, your freshman team, and how their seasons are going along, and how those teams are doing, and how they look for next year?
Yeah, we don't even talk about records, goals and goals against and all that sort of stuff. That's not really our focus for the younger groups. What we stress at our younger teams is just the development of the season, getting them exposed a little bit to the weight room, getting them exposed to different brands of soccer, just like our varsity team, and to watch that evolve and to teach them what it takes to play varsity soccer. And for a lot of these kids, it's their junior year, but we start that our freshman year. In fact, tonight we've got our junior varsity game beforehand is going to be played by our freshman team, which is going to be real exciting for them. And they're going to get a taste of what it feels to play a physical brand of soccer. I'm going to probably assume that Elias is going to have a bigger group, especially with them playing our freshmen, and that's going to be a great way for Coach Scanlon and Coach Meyer to kind of infuse that and show the guys, hey, this is what it takes to play at the next level. We have two really good teams at our lower levels. We've got two freshman teams, which is great, but it's all about the process of them growing, learning from each other, so that not only are they good and prepared physically for the game, but they've got that tight chemistry from our lower levels that come to their junior year.
How much mentoring is this varsity team done backwards with some of the younger guys?
We do a lot of that. We do a lot of OTAs, some organized team activities where we're there watching and supporting the guys. And what's really impressive with our younger guys is that they do that to us. We don't make that a requirement, but I think there's that pride that you mentioned, John, with wearing the Vianney crest on the front of the jersey. There's some pride that goes there, and I think the moment they join our program, they feel that, and they want to show that to the varsity guys, and quite frankly, that's probably their dream one day to wear the varsity jersey. So we do a lot of that sort of stuff. We have our older guys walk our younger guys sometimes through weight room routines and kind of have fun with that sort of stuff. But the other part of it is that we want them to be their own team as well. We let our coaches develop schemes and develop formations, not necessarily the way I want them to do it, but to give them the freedom to do that based on the personnel that they have, if that makes sense. So that, and the nature of the sport is you're every year sometimes your personnel dictates the formation or the style of play that you have. So I give the coaches the autonomy to do that.
Tonight you get Elias, then next week district play. Talk a little bit about Elias and what you're expecting from them tonight.
Well, Elias is a new team on our schedule. We had a couple openings this year, and kind of a last-minute arrival on our schedule. We contacted them as the biggest Catholic school in Jefferson City to come in. They're going to be a formidable opponent. They come into St. Louis a few times. The one common opponent that we have with them is Springfield Glendale, and they lost to them 2-0. But it's their last game of the year, and I think they're going to be wanting to chomp at the bit to get ready for their district. Looking ahead to next week, we've got 4 teams in our district that are very evenly matched. And I think all 4 teams believe that they can win the district out of Parkway South. So we're really looking forward to the most exciting part of the season.
Coach, I appreciate a few minutes. Best of luck tonight, especially with your seniors, and we look forward to getting with you again next week.
Thank you.
Brian Haddock joins us here on Griffins TV. Best of luck to his seniors tonight on senior night, and best of luck to them this weekend and then next week in district play.